Hello everyone. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to join us today. My name is Neil Randeria. I'm a practicing chartered accountant and I've completed my CFA level 2 as well. Over the years, I have worked across investing, research, consulting, and teaching. And like most of you here, I am also a student of markets, trying to understand cycles, behavior, and risk as they evolve. But we are here for a different and a separate discussion. Guys, today's session is organized by Divitiae Investments. Divitiae Investments is a SEBI-registered firm based out of Mumbai, founded by seasoned investors and supported by a highly qualified research team focused on disciplined long-term wealth creation. Um, just a second. I'll share my screen now. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, so a warm welcome to all investors, guys. Before we start, we'll quickly discuss our agenda for today, so all of us have a clarity. So let me briefly outline how today's discussion will flow. Yes, we have structured today's discussion into three parts. The first one will be the launch of Divisha small case. The second part will be focusing on the opportunities in small case investing by Mr. Rakesh Rathod. And the third and the much awaited, part will be a panel discussion on the topic mid and small cap after 2025, opportunity or trap. Yes, it will be followed by a Q&A session for all of us. Yes. So we'll quickly start, yes, without any wait with the first part, which is our small case launch. Yes. The Divisha small case launch will be presented by Mr. Agrim Verma, director at Divisha Investments. Agrim has been closely involved in shaping Divisha's investment philosophy and translating it into a structured, rule-based approach suitable for long-term investors. So over to you, Agrim.
Thank you, Neil. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to introduce Divitiae Fortune 2030 Adaptive Alpha, the next generation small case. The core idea here is very simple. Markets evolve, leadership changes, and hence our portfolios must also change. The adaptive alpha strategy allows us to dynamically allocate across different asset classes like equities, ETFs, gold and silver, and not only that, we can even allocate to global ETFs when they look attractive. Next slide, please, Neil.
Yep.
Investment philosophy. Yeah. Now, let me dig deeper into our investment philosophy and core strategy. A core investment philosophy focuses on generating alpha while reducing large drawdowns. The portfolio is constructed with 20 positions, 15 stocks, and 5 positions across ETFs, precious metals, or global funds. The small and mid-cap stock selection focuses on identifying early winners. Asset allocation adjusts based on market conditions, valuations, and opportunities. This structure helps us to remain flexible across market cycles rather than being locked into one style or asset class. Next slide, please, Neil. Okay. From an allocation standpoint, equities typically form about 65 to 70% of the portfolio. Mid and small caps are the primary alpha generation engines, with flexible allocations that can go up to 75% when the conditions are favorable, like today's market. The remaining 30 to 35% is allocated to ETFs and other instruments such as precious metals, global indices, and liquid funds. Gold and silver act as inflation and crisis hedges. Liquid and short-term funds provide stability and dry powder. Global exposure, such as Nasdaq 100, reduces India-specific concentration risk, while thematic ETFs are used tactically. This balance allows equities to drive alpha, while non-equity assets help reduce volatility and provide stability during uncertain phases. Next slide, please. Okay. Now let me show you an illustration of the strategy for the last 10 years. Look at the small and mid caps. Yes, they've given great returns over the last decade, but also see the red zone, those sharp drawdowns. Some years investors lost 30, 40, or even 50% of their capital. When you mix small and mid caps with Nifty 50 and Nasdaq, the drawdowns become much smaller. You keep most of the upside but lose less in downturns. That's exactly what Fortune 2030 Adaptive Alpha does for you. We take that winning formula and add three things. First, careful stock selection. We are not buying random stocks. We're not chasing hype and fads. We are picking founder led, fast growing companies with real competitive advantages. Second, active rebalancing. We don't just sit and hold. When equities get too hot, we book profits. When they crash, we buy. That's where the alpha comes from. Third, the result. Higher returns with lower pain. The green line on your screen shows what we're aiming for. Beat the indices while protecting your capital. So that's Fortune 2030 Adaptive Alpha. I hope this strategy makes sense to you. It's not complicated, it's just disciplined, systematic, and transparent. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them during the Q&A session. With that, I'll hand it over to Rakesh Rathod, VP Publisher Business Small Case. Thank you.
Perfect. This is what we'll be discussing. Guys, if you just look at index levels, yes, if you just look at index levels, you would think the last year was fairly smooth, right? Indices made new highs, headlines stayed optimistic. But if you have actually been invested, especially in mid and small caps, the experience has been very different. Returns have been patchy, volatility has come back, and most importantly, conviction has been tested. What makes this phase more interesting is that this discomfort hasn't been limited to retail investors. So if you see all the big famous investors, yeah, seasoned investors, they have also not been able to do extremely well. They've also seen huge drawdowns, right? People who have navigated through multiple market cycles, even they have seen sharp drawdowns in parts of their portfolios. So that tells us something important, that this is not a phase of poor effort or lack of intelligence. This is a phase where cycles, valuations, liquidity, and expectations are all resetting. And that's exactly what we want to explore today, without hype, without predictions, and without short-term noise. Yes. So let me now introduce our panelists for today. Mr. Debashish Niyogi, a long-term investor and entrepreneur, known for his business-focused and fundamentals-driven approach. The next panelist is Mr. Neerav Karya, CA and advocate, investor who brings a strong macro and sectoral perspective to market analysis. And Mr. Vijay Thakkar, SEBI registered advisor and an experienced market participant, well known for navigating market across cycles. So thank you all for joining us today. I would request all of you to please turn on your cameras so we can start with our first question. Just a second. Yeah. Yes. Debashi sir, am I audible to you properly?
Yeah, Neil, you're audible. Am I audible?
Yeah. Neerav sir, could you just speak so
Yes, you're
I'll
audible.
understand. Yeah. Perfect. Just a second. See the chat box in case. Okay. Vijay sir, I can't see Vijay sir.
Okay. So Neil, actually we are driving right now. So
Okay.
मैं लोगों को बोल रहा हूँ I will keep my camera off. So थोड़ा network का issue अगर होगा तो please
No
consider
worries.
my thing. And
No
okay,
worries.
thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll start with the first question. Yes, guys, we'll start with the first question, which is how was 2025 for you as an investor? Easy, difficult, or very difficult? And let's start with Debashi sir. If sir you are okay with it, yes.
Yeah, sure, Neil. That's a brilliant question. And like you said, Neil, people who are young investors who have come to the market just after COVID, for them, I can understand it's difficult. Okay. But,
Yeah.
I've been investing for 25, 26 years. This is nothing compared to what I faced in dot-com bust in 2001, then in GFC crisis in 2007-8, then in 2018, and then 2020. So this is nothing, for me. It's part of the cycle, Grim shared, and I'm a small and mid cap investors. So this is just a part of the bull run.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, the way I see it, whenever you ask new investors, for them, they look at the price action and decide how 2025 have been for them. I'm not saying it's wrong. The what I mean to say is that we are investing in a business, so, and we are investing for long term. Whether you're investing in small, mid cap or large cap, so we need to track the underlying business. So from that perspective, 2025 has been very easy for me, because all the businesses where I've invested, and specifically the top allocators, which are the top five companies where my allocation is more than 60%, they have done extremely well in terms of the business and the strategic pillars they are putting in place. Whether it is RSL Geartech in terms of auto ancillary, getting new customers and getting from existing customers, getting new orders, or HBL Engineering. These are the companies I'm not referring as an investment advice. I'm just referring how they have done well. HBL Engineering, or High Green, or for that matter, Parag Milk, whatever I have. But these companies, or Arman Financials. It's coming. It's one of the strongest microfinance company coming out from a crisis. The entire sector has been coming out of crisis. So from a business perspective, I feel the strategic pivots are in place. The business will do extremely well for the next 1 to 3 years. Coming to share price, some have done very well. Okay, like HBL Engineering has done very well. Okay, so RSL has done reasonably well. Parag Milk has done reasonably well. High Green has not done so well in terms of share prices. But share price is a short-term phenomenon. Ultimately, share price will follow the business results, and I expect the companies going forward will do very well. So, long story short, 2025 has been very easy for me, and I'm
Easy.
happy.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Correct. 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 Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Nirav, sir, can you go next?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Divitiae Investments, for this opportunity, and once again, congratulations to you and the entire team for the launch of the new small case. Yes, definitely,
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with Devashish that the year 2025 was not that smooth, and as you rightly said, it was through a rough patch. But definitely, it all depends on the person to person. See, if a person who is a trader, he has to earn either in this 2025, whether it is in up or down, because he basically his intention is only to get into 10, 15, or 20%. So definitely 2025 does not matter to him, or it may be 7, 8, or it may be 18 or 20, correct? So what matters is basically for a person who is in a long-term investor. If a person was a long-term investor, I will say that 2025 was an opportunity starting from Feb, when the US president got changed and basically the tariff got introduced. All this tariff war and everything got introduced. So definitely still today we are into that phase where India is largely dependent on the exports.
Yeah.
And if this tariff war is not yet settled, and the FTA with the India US, like if you have seen the FTA with India New Zealand came. Similarly, we have to settle this India-US FTA also, so that in upcoming quarters, you can see a good companies who are into exports or majorly export dependents. You can say chemical, pharma, and so and the auto ancillary companies and all. They will give a good quarterly results. Because see,
Yeah.
once your investments are growing, say from 2020, many people who came into the new investment, and definitely they have seen the level of the returns like 50% and 100%, and so आज उनके लिए वो 10-20% doesn't matter. हो सकता है कि 2025, correct Debashish, in
Yes.
2025 someone must have earned 10-15% also as a CAGR. वो बोलते हैं कि नहीं ये मेरे के लिए ये नहीं अच्छा है, मेरे को तो 50-100% ही चाहिए, because they have seen that phase from 20 to 25. So
Hmm.
it's all depends on the person, it all depends on the perception, and it all depends
Hmm.
on your appetite to hold the company. See, definitely no one is right, no one is wrong in any stock market. Even if you have
Correct.
seen a seasonal investors or ace investors, I don't want to name anyone, they all are having their portfolio down by 20 to 25% in
Yeah.
2025.
Correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
definitely we are nothing in front of them, correct? So it's all depends on your appetite to hold and your horizon, and as well as the understanding of the business. Because if someone invests in February 25 and in today December 25, definitely he will be in the negative returns only. Because कोई भी
Hmm.
company ने ऐसा कोई positive return नहीं दिया वो except for 5-10%. So definitely he will
Hmm.
be in a verge of frustration today. कि भाई मैं क्या
Hmm.
करूं, मैंने गलत ले लिया, मेरे को इसने बोल दिया, उसने बोल दिया, यहाँ पे ले लिया, वो कर लिया करके. So definitely, so but once a person who is investing since 2020 and he's, if you ask this question today, definitely his answer will be different as compared to the person who has invested in January 25. क्योंकि
Correct.
दिसंबर 24 नवंबर 24 में जो उसने रिटर्न्स देखे होंगे, जनवरी 25 में जो रिटर्न्स देखे होंगे, उसके बाद से
Hmm.
जो उसका पोर्टफोलियो ड्रैग डाउन हुआ होगा, इफ ही इज स्टिल होल्डिंग, definitely his answer will be very, very, very difficult
Very good.
if I
Correct.
can give you the answer. Yes.
Correct. So, sir, Neerav, sir, in conclusion, how has 2025 been for you as an investor? So, was it easy, difficult, or very difficult?
I will say smooth.
Smooth. Okay.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I will say smooth because see, the thing is that there are two kind of portfolios which I am having. So one is my core portfolio, which is a long term. Second is my
Correct.
swing portfolio. So
Okay.
definitely, when in terms of the core portfolio where it has been a long term portfolio, it was a chance. Wherever I was in cash, I'm adding that. And in swing,
Hmm.
definitely it gave me the, so definitely sometimes some stock gave upswing and some stock as a, there was a, you can say if the business was going through the rough patches, definitely the
Hmm.
returns were not well that. So
And
all depends. In a core portfolio, it is smooth. And yes, it was a rough patch in the swing portfolio.
perfect. Perfect.
Neil,
Thank you. Thank you.
can I add one line to this, please?
Yeah, yeah, please, please, please.
So Neil, what I feel is, today a lot of young people have come to the market, and they have seen only good returns after COVID.
Hmm.
But the
Hmm.
reality is that you have to be a long-term investor if you're investing in small and mid cap also. For
Yeah.
example, when you invest in a real estate, when you're buying a flat on an apartment, you don't look at yearly return, quarterly return, right?
True.
You buy a flat with the assumption that either you will stay or you will sell after 5 years, right? So I'm
True.
saying the minimum holding period for equity should be 5 years, and no one should see quarterly returns or one
Hmm.
year return, right? So
Correct.
ultimately, your objective is what? Your objective is to hold equity for 5 to 10 years, and every 10 years you should multiply your capital by 10 times. So if someone
Correct.
has 1 lakh, it should be 10 lakhs. If someone has 10 lakhs, should be 1 crore after 10 years. If someone has 1 crore, because in investment,
Correct.
whether any in Indian city, you have to invest 1 crore. Of course, 1 crore people will not put full. They will
Correct.
only put 25, 30%. That also, if you're putting 25 lakhs and if you're keeping for 10 years, your objective is to make that 2.5 crores after 10 years. The
Correct.
orientation has to be 5, 7, 10 years, unlike like
Correct.
real estate for equity, which is not there in 95% of the people, I would say. And that
Mhm.
makes a big difference.
True.
Correct.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Yes.
That's
I'll
why
move the same
holding
question.
appetite should be increased.
Yeah. Holding up. Correct. Correct. True. 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 So I'll move on this question to now Vijay sir. Vijay sir, I hope you can hear us.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, Sirji, how has
Okay.
2025 been for you as an investor? Easy, difficult, or very difficult?
Okay. So now I will say, as a return wise, if you say it's a difficult part, 2025 was not a good year. But as
Correct.
a investor, if you say, so it's a part of a journey. जैसे अभी देवाशीष जी ने बोला, नीरव जी ने बोला, so in my career as a trader, okay, so एक ट्रेडर इन्वेस्टर की तरीके से इवॉल्व होता है, तो वो जर्नी में है ना
Hmm.
पूरा बहुत सारे चेंजेस देखता है. My journey started from 2011. Then वहाँ से I started with trading. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे I understood about investing. But investing में भी till today I am using a momentum approach. So basically
Okay.
my investment method is a momentum investing. So every year I will get a new sector. Maybe years or 2 years I will get a new sector. So in that case, if you will say as an investor, my journey was difficult for 2025 because there was a very less, you can say, the trend of any one sector, specifically if
Correct.
we see. So,
Sideways. Correct.
so I say कि my return was like in a single digit, but as an investor now I understood this is a journey. कभी कुछ अच्छे रिटर्न्स आएंगे, 1-2 साल ऐसे नो रिटर्न्स भी हो सकता है या तो ज्यादा नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है. सो
True.
इसीलिए मैं भी अभी फंडामेंटल्स के बारे में ज्यादा समझ रहा हूँ, सीख रहा हूँ, और नीरव जी से
Correct.
बहुत बार मिला हूँ, उनसे बहुत बार बात भी की है. सो उससे बड़ा पिक्चर पता चलता है. जैसे अभी देवाशीष जी ने बोला कि 5-10 साल में हमें ये देखना है, कंपनी को देखना है. सो ये जो माइंडसेट है ना, दैट हैज बीन चेंज ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम.
Hmm. True. 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 Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Vijay sir. Rakesh sir, could you add on to this? Sir, as an investor, Rakesh sir, is it easy, difficult, or a very difficult year for you, 2025?
I think it will not be easy, but as I think everybody mentioned, from written wise, it has been a lackluster one. But I think it's more about the conviction with which you invest and the thesis or
True.
the whole idea is to stay put for long term. And of course, as we all know, there are a lot of headwinds which are around us now in terms of macros and all that. So of course, it's just a matter of time that how things unfold for those companies. Because I always believe that if you invest in the leaders of that particular sectors, it's always those who are at the forefront for both challenges and the opportunities. So yeah, it's a challenging time, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time that once the headwinds turn around, then they will be at the forefront to capture the entire opportunity. So yeah, it's just a matter of time, but yeah, it's long term, and I'm glad that I've been part of the market for last 20-25 years as well, and have seen much worse periods than this in 2008, 16. So uske samne aisa lagta hai yaar ye to kuch nahi hai types. So yeah, and of course there are a lot of other rules which you follow about the leverage part of it and the behavior part of it, which evolves over a period of time once you get into more and more cycles, once your experience also evolves. So of course, that benefit will always be there. And I'm sure all investors will have their own stories and own journey. So there are a lot of investors who start with say 2008 में 7 में जिसने start किया था उसका पहला ही experience वैसा हुआ होगा. तो in fact, they would have been the best investors for that matter. So right now it has become the reverse कि पहला ही journey उनका 30, 40, 50% कैगर वाला है. तो उनकी cycle शायद कहीं और होगी. तो yeah, we
Expectation
will all go through
mismatch.
that same
Correct.
grid. Yeah.
True. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. We'll go to Nirav, sir. Nirav, sir, the next question. We'll move on to the second question. When you think about 2026, what comes to your mind? Confidence, caution, or selective optimism? So would want your views on this.
Neil, I will say 2026 will be definitely a selective optimism only. See, because as you know, 2026 will be a mix of the uh, year. In the case where still, as you said, the tariff war is going on. India is becoming the export-oriented company. Import dependence is going less. Correct. So in this situation, what we have to see is that when the dollar is going up and the rupee is weakening, so there we have to see that how our exports are going up and what kind of businesses which are growing in that sector. Because if you see in this 2 quarters which will be there in the, as we know that we are chartered accountants, so definitely every quarter is important. But
Right.
for a long-term approach, the business and their potential is important. No one can rule this out. But if you see the last 2-3 quarters of many companies who are export dependent, they are not that good. And today also, when you talk to many of our, I can say many of the people who are still export oriented, they always say yes, it is not that good. Stock is still there. The orders are not coming up. The orders are basically been held up by the company, or they are saying that you basically have a depot there in that country, and we will ask you on a just-in-time basis. So many kind of these things and stories are coming up. So therefore, 2026 will not be a year again like 2022 or 23 where the bull run will be there. Definitely, it will be like a selective optimism only. You have to be seeing that which country and which area and sector you have to focus. See, today, as you said, last night, silver touched 250. Correct. Gold clear 140. Platinum, palladium. When if you see my old tweet, I'm continuously saying that platinum and palladium will be the next runner-up, and copper definitely yes. So
Correct.
what basically we are seeing this. This is the end of 2025 where we are seeing the all the metals price which are going up. So whether it is good or bad, that we have to study. Because if the metal price are going up, definitely it is not good. In 2026, we will be definitely having a issue when the metal prices are up because they all have a negative beta with the market.
Negative
As
beta,
you
correct.
know, the I always say that when the silver, if you see when the silver is manufactured, the froth on the froth which is generated, they have basically take that froth and out of this the silver is being extracted, and with that the byproducts like zinc, lead, and copper are also emerged. So similarly, the froth is there in the metal market now. The FOMO is going on. And as Rakesh sir also correctly said कि 30, 40, 50% तो मतलब वो नॉर्मल हो गया किसी के लिए पहले तो 10, 15 CAGR बोलते थे तो होता so what I say is that कि selective optimism is a correct thing. You have to see and focus only on the sectors which will be having a less impact on the geopolitical things, which will be having a less impact on the global footing. Because if you see all the countries except India, India is the only country where we are having no problem, no issues, touch wood, and our GDP is also growing. Our economy is also stable, I can say. But everywhere,
Correct.
if you see the leverage and the debt positions which all the countries are carrying, definitely it's alarming as compared to India. So we have to focus on two things. Our portfolio should be balanced portfolio with definitely a companies which having a India manufacturing and major sales in India, as well as those companies which are having into the sector, next sector. So definitely 2026 has to be a selective optimism only. You cannot simply say कि yes मैंने जो आज पोर्टफोलियो रखा हुआ है या 2 साल पहले पोर्टफोलियो रखा हुआ है मैं 2026 में उसको रिव्यू नहीं करूंगा रिविजिट नहीं करूंगा या चर्न नहीं करूंगा because
Correct. Correct. I
see
understand.
ultimately money has no color and money has no this thing that कि भाई मेरे को ये कंपनी से पैसा मिलेगा आज जो अगर 100 करोड़ की कंपनी है आपको नहीं पता है कि 2026 में होते होते वो 500 करोड़ की भी हो जाएगी मार्केट कैप में
True. 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 True.
बिकॉज टेक्निकली द सेंटिमेंट्स राइड आपका जो प्रॉफिट्स है आप एज यू नो प्रॉफिट्स है जो पी है जो इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू है तो ये तो आपका 2 साल 3 साल के बाद में उसे मैच करेगा पर 1 साल के तक तो सेंटिमेंट्स उसको राइज करके प्राइस बढ़ा देंगे ना
True.
therefore your
Absolutely.
selective optimism has to be there
Selective
if you
optimism.
want to sustain and survive in 2026 so it's for
Perfect.
both.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Nirav sir. Amazing, amazing insight. Uh, Vijay sir, can you go next? 2026 क्या लगता है? Confidence, caution और selective optimism?
Selective रहेगा. 2026 will be a very selective. For me is like जो small and mid cap finance और NBFC वाले stocks है उसमें मेरा ज़्यादा focus रहेगा. And there are
Okay.
few metal stocks also जहाँ पे मेरा focus रहेगा. So ये दो sector पे मेरा ज़्यादा ध्यान है. But I will be very selective while selecting the stock.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. Debashish sir, would you like to add on to this? Confidence, caution or selective optimism?
So Neil, I'll break it down into two parts. One is the businesses. I said, I invest in businesses, right? So the businesses which I hold, I'm extremely confident because I track the businesses very closely. From a 2 to 3 year perspective, I'm very confident on those businesses. Coming to the macro or any new positions which I want to build, okay, given the current VUCA world, very volatile, very uncertain, complex, ambiguous, And with Trump coming in, he has added to that volatility. He's an episodic thinker. He forgets what has happened in past, and he always thinks of present and the future. And then
Correct.
your US dollar over longer period of time will lose its dominance. Okay, BRICS will play a very important role. Okay, gold and silver will do well. And like Neeraj said, when metals do well, it is a negative beta and a negative correlation. If gold is and silver is doing well, your equity markets tend to not do well, right? So given all this, if I have to build a new position, my position would be selective optimism. Core portfolio or core companies which I hold, I'm immensely confident on that.
Perfect. Amazing answer. Rakesh sir, what would what would your opinion be on this? Confidence, caution, or selective optimism?
I think as an investor, by default, we are all optimists. That's the only option we have. So
Correct.
of course, the mind will always look out for opportunities. And even in midst of all chaos, you will always find opportunities. In fact, at times, those are the best times from investing point of views, where you actually get those opportunities when everything around is very negative and pessimism all around. Having said that, for me personally, I have been more into investing via advisors or fund managers, and that has helped me a lot personally because of my day job. I don't get enough time to do
Yeah.
research full time, and that is where, of course, managers like Divitiae and a lot of other fund managers have been like amazing for me because it's their full-time job to do the research and all that. For me, it's
Yeah.
more about aligning myself to their philosophies, to their way of doing things rather than me getting into individual stocks. So that has been the approach for me so far. And of course, I take care on my part more on the asset allocation part of it, that what is the kind of allocation I have to do to a particular fund manager. So
Correct.
preparing myself mentally that even worst case में अगर ये नहीं चलता है तो क्या होगा at a portfolio level. That are some of the calculations which I do at my level rather than getting into individual stocks. But yeah, to each his own. For me, that has worked. That I've been aligning myself with a couple of fund managers, and that has worked well so far for me for last almost now 12, 15 years with some small case managers, with some PMSs, some AIFs, and asset allocation is something which I decide for myself.
Perfect. So, sir, confidence, caution, or selective optimism for 2026?
It's optimism.
Optimism.
Because
Perfect.
it's not for 26 which I'm investing, like idea or seeding things for long term. So yeah, 26 will be an optimism from that point of view that you might get better opportunities as well.
Correct. Correct. Perfect. So, guys, every panelist over here has given us the answer that optimism, selective optimism, is what we think for the next year 2026. So this is the best segue for our next question, the third question for our today's panel. Right, over the next 5 to 10 years, from which sectors or business characteristics do you believe leadership will emerge? I guess Devashish sir, would you want to start with this?
Uh, when it comes to India, India, the entire world, if you see, actually, is get into deglobalization. Everyone is thinking of their country as a market
Hmm.
compared to.
Correct. Correct.
So from that perspective, if you look, if I have to answer from a Indian market point of view, okay, keeping this deglobalization thing in mind, I feel what will do well is renewables, okay, given what the
Hmm.
government is doing and the inputs what government is giving, defense, okay, and I also feel banking and financials will do well, given our nominal GDP will be at 11-12%, so the multiplier on the nominal GDP will be higher for the finance and banking sectors. And I'm also, India is a very difficult, country, and there are many Indias in one India, Neil. So I feel while there is a big market for bottom of the pyramid, but I feel the premium market will do extremely well. The
Hmm.
top 3 to 5% of Indians will drive huge
True.
growth in premium consumptions. So things like alcohol, which is directly related to that premium segment, okay, or
Correct.
premium cars. So I will put in that way, renewable, defense, banking, premium consumptions. Of course,
Perfect.
the other things, defense, semiconductors, all those things will also do well. The
Right.
new age tech.
Understood. Understood. So I'll just repeat what Sir said. Renewables, defense, banking, finance, premiumization theme. So these are your main characteristics
Yes.
or themes that you're keeping in mind for the next few years. Perfect.
And in,
Perfect.
in,
Great.
in if you have to add Make in India, I would be extremely,
Perfect.
bullish on auto ancillary also as a theme, because India will be, the auto ancillary hub going forward, given what is
True.
happening around the world.
Perfect, perfect. Auto ancillary. Guys, at Divisha, just a small point. At Divisha, we have just uploaded a video on YouTube yesterday on auto ancillary sectors. Anyone who's new over here, yes, go through it. It's a small 10-minute crisp video, and you will understand the auto ancillary sector amazingly well. Moving on to the next, next panelist, Vijay sir, what would you add on to this? Next few years, according to you, which are the sectors or themes that you believe leadership will emerge? Am I audible, Vijay sir?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, I'm driving, so my network is coming and going.
No
So,
worries.
for me, I can't say for 5 to 10 years, but as of now, I'm looking at banking and mid and small finance and metal sector. एंड जैसे देवाशीष जी ने बोला कि अब अगर हम मैक्रो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें तो हमारा कंट्री है वो इंडिया के अंदर भी बहुत सारे इंडिया है, तो ऐसी बहुत सारी कंपनीज है, जैसे टेक में हो गया, प्लेटफॉर्म बेस्ड हो गया, जो एक बहुत ही बड़ा रोल प्ले करेंगे एज अ ग्रोइंग पार्ट. तो यस, तीन चीजों पे मेरा अभी फोकस है एज ऑफ नाउ. फिर अगर कुछ
So,
चेंजेस होगा तो आई विल बी आल्सो चेंज.
so small and mid finance, matlab, you're talking about capital market stocks or NBFCs?
कैपिटल मार्केट एंड एनबीएफसी बोथ.
Both. Okay.
या.
Okay. Perfect. Great, great. Thank you, sir. Rakesh, sir, what do you think? Any sectors or any business characteristics do you think where leadership will emerge for the next few years?
I think Vijay is, yeah. So Vijay sir has already touched upon the capital market space. Of course, there are a lot of subsets in capital markets. So I think one space or maybe two spaces within that capital markets, I look forward is on the wealth management and the asset management part of it, because that alludes really well with even Debashish what just said about the premiumization theme, right? So
Premiumization.
that top
Correct,
5-10% of the India will always look for now bespoke solutions rather than very unified solutions like other products. So eventually there will be a upgradation when
correct.
the per capita goes for them also. That is how at least personally I have evolved, like till 10 years back or maybe 8 years back, even I was investing only in mutual funds, and that is where the upgradation started, where PMS came in, AIFs came in and all that. So, and of course, a lot of other wealth management products. So that is one. Second, maybe it might not be a very large sector as such right now, but I see a huge potential, maybe both as an investor and a user as well, where we are seeing emerging of a lot of startups in India, right? And you really need an ecosystem to ensure that those startups function in a very smooth way on a day-to-day basis. So one sector that I feel is emerging is the co-working space, and I'm glad to see that that sector has actually emerged, because now there are almost 4 to 5 listed companies in that space, and maybe another 3 or 4 are on the way to get listed. So it actually gives you a lot of options to invest in that sector. And of course, there are subsets of those sectors like REITs and all that, where you get a stability in terms of yields as well and capital appreciation as well. So I was reading somewhere recently a research report by Ambit, which came up on that sector, where they have covered all the stocks like WeWork, SmartWorks. I think we have IndiCube and Office, and there are another 3 or 4 which are, but the kind of capacity with their of demand, what they are seeing. So, and I always believe that supply will never be a challenge. If there is demand for any product, I think it's just a matter of time that supply gets created over a period of
Correct.
time. So this is a sector where I feel things have just started looking good, and it's emerging. It's too early, of course, but if we see the trend, what we are seeing right now, and And it's not about those one or two chairs people taking as a co-working. I'm seeing a lot of now established companies, like where I sit in Bombay. HDFC Life has taken like 200 seats in that co-working space, managed offices and all that, right? And long-term leases, like 5 years,
Correct.
6 years and all that. So that gives you a lot of visibility also of earnings, rather than like hunting for earnings every year.
Correct.
So yeah, this is one sector which I'm excited about, and of course capital markets, mein, wealth management and asset management.
Perfect. Perfect. Amazing insights, Rakesh sir. I would like to add on something. Sir, what you said is absolutely correct. 4 years back, when I started my CA practice, I was looking for offices to rent, and rent in Mumbai. Yeah, we couldn't get any office. So for the first 6 months, my firm was in a co-working space, and it helped us so immensely. So I understand the need for co-working space properly, because I have faced it, and renting, it becomes extremely difficult, especially in Mumbai, Delhi, where the rentals are extremely high in good corporate offices. So initial phase mein, it will become a norm to get into co-working space for a couple of years, and then you might start looking for. So I think this is a new thing emerging. I don't think this used to happen a couple of years, maybe a couple of decades back or something. A new thing emerging. So I absolutely agree with you, sir. Perfect. We'll move on. We'll move on to the next panelist. Neerav, sir, what do you think? What are the sectors or business characteristics you are looking for the next few years?
Thanks, Neil. See, basically, if you see the sectors which are discussed by Devashish ji, Vijay bhai, and Rakesh ji, all these sectors require what? Require power.
Correct.
So definitely, as in India, if we are seeing India is in the next 3 years, 5 years, or next say 10 years, or if we say 2047, where our PM is also saying that we want to be carbon free. So what
Correct.
important point which we have to see is the power. Because if you see the space in India, I will just be a little lengthy also. Please bear with me, because this is very much my favorite topic, I can say. So here the power requirement is not only linked with the power but also with the data center also. So therefore,
Hmm.
the two major sector, if you see in 2026, which are totally India dependent only, and not at all export dependent, not at all import dependent. Because if you see the coal also, earlier the coal was also having a compensation cess. Now the
Hmm.
compensation cess has also been not there since 22nd September 2025. The coal is 100% now leviable to only GST at a rate of 18% only. So now the major companies who will be purchasing the coal or importing the coal, they will get the full credit if they are
Hmm.
using it in the entire manufacturing activity and not for exports also. Correct. So earlier, what was happening when I'm importing the coal, I was paying BCD, I was paying the IGST, and I was paying the compensation cess. Or when I was
Compensation.
purchasing
Correct.
it from local, also I was paying the compensation cess, and I can use the compensation cess only when I'm either clearing the coal as such or I'm using it in the exports.
Correct.
I will मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलना चाहता हूँ सो दैट कि जो लोग हैं वो थोड़ा समझ भी सके। इससे क्या हो रहा है कि जो भी मेरी कंपनी का जो कॉस्ट है, बिकॉज आज जो कंपनी होती है दे आर बेसिकली ऑपरेटिंग विद अ वेरी थिन मार्जिन,
Hmm.
एंड इफ यू आर ऑपरेटिंग विद अ थिन मार्जिन दे आर ऑलवेज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द वर्किंग कैपिटल, दे आर ऑलवेज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द लोन, दे आर ऑलवेज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द फ्री मनी विच इज कमिंग। आपने अगर
Hmm.
देखा होगा तो काफी सारे कंपनीज में अगर आप देख रहे हो तो वाई द प्रमोटर इज बेसिकली डाइल्यूटिंग द स्टेक, क्योंकि जैसे भी अगर एच एन आई आते हैं वो बोलते हैं कि भाई मैं 1% 2% स्टेक दूंगा तो डेफिनेटली ही विल गिव द मनी विदाउट एनी इंटरेस्ट, बट इफ ही इज गोइंग टू द बैंक डेफिनेटली ही हैज टू पे 7%।
Correct.
If it is a commercialized bank, if a state bank, then थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा। So now if he is going for another you can say unsecured loan तो ज्यादा भरना पड़ेगा। So what important is the working capital movement which we have to see. So therefore what is important is the power as well as the data center sector, because
Hmm.
as and when if you see the areas which are reducing in India, where majority of the real estate is been taken over, as you say co-working space हवा में तो नहीं खड़ा होगा ना, उसको बनाना
Correct.
तो पड़ेगा ना आपको, बिल्डिंग बनाना
Correct.
पड़ेगा। तो जब आप एरियाज अगर देखो, आप बताओ मेरे को कितने ग्राउंड्स आपको खेलने मिलते थे जब अपने टाइम पे 90s में अपन खेलते थे, क्रिकेट खेलते थे ग्राउंड ही ग्राउंड से, आज सारे ग्राउंड्स आर बीन टेकन ओवर बाय द बिल्डर्स लॉबी, where they are basically constructing the building or either for the residential, commercial or for the co-working space. Then that is good also, nothing wrong. But what I'm trying to say is this, okay, when the area of India is basically decreasing, your data center and the power will become very much important. आपने बॉम्बे में कभी देखा हुआ है कि लाइट गई है 2 घंटा 3 घंटा 4 घंटा, जो पहले हमने देखा था लोड शेडिंग सुना है कभी?
नहीं
पर
नहीं
आज भी
नहीं।
हम काफी सारे एरियाज में अपने सुनने मिल रहा है ना कि भाई लाइट नहीं होती है 2 2 3 3 8 8 घंटे।
हम्म।
तो वो क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? कभी ये ऑब्जर्व किया है हमने कि भाई हम यहाँ पे पूरा दिन टीवी चला सकते हैं, एसी चला सकते हैं, पूरा दिन हम लोग इंटरनेट चला सकते हैं नॉन स्टॉप, because of the
Correct.
power and because of the data center thing. Now, one more sector connected to this is also a refrigerants. Yesterday only you must have seen the center has imposed an anti-dumping duty on the refrigerants also. I don't want to name any company, but the refrigerants business will increase. As you said, co-working space. मैं आपका ही एग्जांपल देता हूँ, जैसे देवाशीष जी और राकेश जी ने बताया, co-working space. Co-working space में आप पंखा तो नहीं लगा पाओगे ना, because as you said in the lavish thing, तो आपको एसी चाहिए, करेक्ट? तो
Correct.
आपको एसी के लिए क्या चाहिए रहेगा? यू विल नीड अ रेफ्रिजरेंट्स ओनली.
Correct.
So many things are working on the refrigerants, because there will you will have a centralized AC, you will have a chillers, you will have a air handling units big, correct? Now, not only this, is definitely coming from the area also where I am like a lawyer, the new act which is coming. That's why I said I will be little bit lengthy and I will be little bit boring also, Rakesh ji.
No, no, sir.
कि जो डिजिटल पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट है, which is
हम्म।
basically passed. Now the thing is that it is to be notified in a particular date, that will take time. तो 1 साल में शायद वो आ जाएगा. Now what is that law? आपकी सारी जो कंपनी है, यू मस्ट हैव आल्सो हर्ड अबाउट इट, डिजिटल डीपीडीपी एक्ट जिसको बोलते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Many companies are required to have a data protection things. For data protection, they will require a large servers, they will require a large storage space, they will require a area. As you said that in the case of WeWork, we are hiring a space for doing that work. Now they will be hiring a space also in the server capacity or a data center capacity for basically hiring the area and the space to give my, or basically to rent my data, definitely within the framework of the law. So where we are going through, we have to see the next sector, we have to see the next emerging sector. आज आपने
Correct.
बताया कि 6 महीने 7 महीने में आपने अपना वीवर्क्स में काम स्टार्ट किया था, डेफिनेटली यू विल नॉट कंटिन्यू. आपको भी लगेगा भाई मेरी खुद की ऑफिस होनी चाहिए. तो
मतलब
ये सब जो चीज है, इसका जो रन या शेल्फ लाइफ है वो 6 to 8 months या जनरली 12 months होता है. Definitely nothing wrong in this
correct.
because it's a asset light model if you see. But over a period of time, you have to see the consumption, as Devashish ji said. Ultimately, your money lies and you want to make money or you want to make X. Basically, we are here to make 2X, 3X, correct? So, if you want to make the money, you have to make in that sector where the consumption is more. Today, the
Correct.
power consumption is more, data center consumption will be more. Third, the refrigerant consumption will be more. And fourth, my fourth favorite sector is the electronic manufacturing sector. Definitely, semiconductor is also part of it only. If you see, the import dependency is reducing. The
Correct.
consumption of the EMS, basically electronic manufacturing sector, is happening
Hmm.
more in India only, where we are basically
Correct.
having a more expansion. You see on the statistics, we are giving more
Correct.
and more PLI, correct? More and more PLIs are given to the company for expansion. More and more subsidies are given to the company for expansion. If you see the land, basically land is a sovereign only, correct? So it is given on lease
Correct.
only to the companies. You cannot sell the land to the businesses, correct? It depends on the state only. So now, if you see more and more of the records and statistics of all the industrial development corporation, they are giving more and more land to the either the existing company or the new person to make and construct. So what they will require, Neil? दे विल
True.
डेफिनेटली रिक्वायर द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर ओनली ना. उसमें सारी जो चीजें लगने वाली है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पैनल लगेगा आपके अंदर, जो भी जितनी भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक थिंग्स लगने वाली है, एलवी पैनल बोलो, वो सारी लगने वाली है उसके अंदर. तो
Correct.
देयरफॉर it's a mixture of what I'm trying to say is that you have to focus on those sector which are 100% India dependent, though their business will be having the output also which is export oriented, But if you want to have a proper sustainable portfolio, your core portfolio must be having this type of companies which are purely into the consumption. क्योंकि आप देखोगे अगर हमने जब भी स्टार्ट किया था हमने सीएफएल हमने बल्ब से स्टार्ट किया था बल्ब से आज सीएफएल आ गया सीएफएल से एलईडी आ गया तो आपको क्या लग रहा है कि पूरी इंडस्ट्री कैसे इरोड हो गई आज एलईडी है एलईडी को डेफिनेटली वो सस्ती हो गई है आप कोई भी एलईडी बल्ब लेने जाओ लैंप लेने या कोई भी एक बल्ब लेने जाओ तो यू विल बी नॉट फेसिंग दैट इशू बिकॉज आपके घर में भी पूरे एलईडी लगी होगी करेक्ट so what I'm trying to say is basically you have to focus on those sector which is having a run in the next 3-4 years, which will give you an amazing return.
Perfect. So
And that's why the consumption sector will be the most important sector in this.
perfect.
And the
Perfect.
last sector I just want to, sorry, that's why I just said I will be more lengthy.
No, I was
Will be
asking you a question
the
on this only.
sector.
Please continue.
Yeah, I will take a question next. So the more important sector which you will be seeing that India is having the huge R&D space, huge R&D center in India. Plus the education level as well as the intelligence level of the Indians are so high that earlier the pharma companies were doing the R&D outside India. Now major companies in India are only coming up with the testing sectors. And
Correct.
government is also giving more relief to that all the testing sectors also. Like if you see the CRO, which is the contract research organizations, CRAMS, contract research and manufacturing services, contract manufacturing organization. Even if you see there are companies which are listed, I don't want to name, which are into the testing services, 100% testing services only. And if you see the PAT is more than 20 to 25% only in the testing services, which is transparent today. So what is important here is the consumption sector, which you have to see, which is less focus, more monopoly. Even though globally कुछ भी हो रहा है, भाई पता है मेरे को इंडिया में ही जाके करना है.
True, true.
आज मुझे बताओ आईफोन 17 के पीछे कितनी लाइन लगी हुई थी. कहीं पे किसी को
Correct.
पता था कि ट्रम्प ने टैरिफ लगाया, इंडिया के बाहर क्या हो रहा है, कुछ भी किसी को फर्क पड़ा है. शायद आपके पास भी होगा. You must be
Correct.
also standing in the queue. Definitely. So what is important is this, that you have to hit the consumption sector where the money should go, not where the money is today. Therefore, this is the change of approach and the psychology which in 2026 the people should be having.
True. Perfect.
I think Debashish ji and Rakesh ji will agree to me.
Yes, definitely. Neeraj, you spoke well about the entire thing.
Perfect. Great. Guys, we'll quickly move on to the Q&A session. Yes, we'll open the floor for questions. Nirav sir, the first question is directed to you. That you spoke about the power sector, but where exactly, are you focusing in the whole space, power space? Is it in power generation companies, transmission companies, distribution companies, transformer companies, EPC? So where is your major, what do you feel most bullish on?
Except power generation company, rest what you said is to be focused. क्योंकि वहां पे क्या हो जाता है कि technically नहीं, the reality is that because they are totally dependent on the price as well as the entry barriers are also there and more the government approach focused is also there, correct ना. तो वहां पे
Correct.
आपको जो एक अल्फा और जो एक बीटा है ना वो नहीं मिल सकता आपको. तो रेस्ट द
Understood.
मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज विच आर देयर लाइक ट्रांसफॉर्मर कंपनीज बोल दो टीएनडी कंपनीज बोल दो वहां पे
Correct.
गवर्नमेंट की जो सिचुएशन है वो लेस होती है. There only you
Okay.
can make that alpha and beta. See, years are different where REC, PFC, Power Grid में आपने 2x 3x किया था वो 2020 था. अब वापस आप अगर बोलो तो आपको वो चीज नहीं मिलेगी.
नहीं मिले. Correct.
जब वो PSU का एक दौर आया था PSU भाग गया था तो हर साल वो नहीं रहता. Therefore you have to focus on the manufacturing companies only.
Correct. Perfect. We move on to the next question. Next question is to, I guess it is for Vijay sir. From what I'm understanding, can you specify the type of small and mid cap finance companies you are bullish on? Are you focused on housing finance, microfinance, gold finance, any specific sector? So Vijay sir, am I?
Yeah. So first, I will be focused on that finance company which are financing the car, trucks, and bikes. Okay,
Okay.
and second will be the microfinance company.
Perfect. Microfinance companies. Okay. Understood. So sir, but वो microfinance में are you not scared about वो जो drawdowns आ जाता है, cycles आ जाता है? So is it that you are trying to time the cycle or what's your strategy over there?
हाँ, वो ऑब्वियसली हाँ, वो तो है जो पिछले 2 साल से चल ही रहा था उसके
हाँ.
अंदर, बट नाउ आई फील कि वो थोड़ा सा टर्न हो रहा है। तो मेरा
Okay.
जो वहाँ पे अप्रोच है ना, वो ऐसा है कि आई विल स्टार्ट विद स्मॉल, एंड जैसे जैसे क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट्स अच्छे आते जाएंगे, थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा विजिबिलिटी उसमें दिखते जाएगा, वैसे आई विल
Correct.
एड ऑन मोर देयर। बट अभी मेजरली आई एम फोकसिंग ऑन द जो कार और बाइक्स को फाइनेंस होते हैं वैसी
Correct.
कंपनीज में मोस्टली।
So two-wheeler majorly. Okay.
यस।
Understood. Understood. Okay, great. Great, great, great. Thank you, sir. The next question is open for all. What do you think about the railway sector in the coming 5 to 10 years? So I guess anyone can please take someone's tracking the railway sector. So what do you think about the railway sector in the next 5 to 10 years? Devashi sir, would you want to comment or something in case you are tracking the sector?
See, I don't track railway as a sector, but I track a big chunk of the railway sector which is going in railway safety and security. Okay, so in that sector, there are 5 companies. Okay, sorry, 2 are listed and the rest are unlisted. Okay, so this Kavach thing is a big opportunity in railway. Okay, so the TAM, at least for the next 3 years, is going to be huge, and the
Correct.
sectors uh, and the companies which are doing extremely well in that sector, and a company which is very underrated, no mutual fund owns it, is HBL Engineering. I'm not making a recommendation. I own this stock, but it is worth studying for any new investors who wants to be long term should study this company the and start from the annual report, see the kind of innovations they do. Investment is not about going from quarter to quarter and year to year. It's about long term being with a company who has a competitive edge. So the edge of this company is actually innovation. Okay, and
Hmm.
the way this company has evolved. Okay, so railway is one part of it, and given what the our the government is doing, there will be huge money spent on railway security coverage, and the TAM of that for the next 3 years is huge. The margin of these products are very huge, so I'm very bullish on coverage and railway as a theme. Okay, the
Okay.
entire budget I think will be 1,30,000 1,30,000 crores for railway for the next years, which is unprecedented in terms of railway spending. So it is a sector to watch for definitely, apart from Kavach also.
Perfect. Perfect. Should we go to the next question or anyone has any points to add on? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. So the next question is about the lab-grown diamonds. As the gold is getting costlier day by day, will the acceptance of lab-grown diamond increase going forward? How do you assess this? So anyone can take this question.
See, I think there is a value in if you look at a sector, there is a positive and a negative. Okay, the positive is Neil, natural diamonds are forever. The campaign which started and natural diamonds, people who buy a little older woman who wants it forever. The second is it was store of value. Okay, but both these have changed over time because of lab grown diamonds. Lab grown diamonds are like test tube babies. You cannot say a test tube baby, the baby is not original, right? So all the chemical properties of lab grown diamond is equal to diamonds. Okay,
Diamonds,
but
correct.
but diamond, given the limited supply, okay, the prices kept on moving up. Now lab grown diamond, because of the chemical properties and the way it is made, the cost of making it is minuscule, because of which the supply is much more than the demand. Okay,
Correct.
while you have a big Zenzi TG coming into the category, but the price erosion has been huge. So just to give you, Neil, some perspective, the price erosion has been 90%, right?
Yeah.
So the way, if one wants to play this sector, is not lab grown versus diamond. The way to play is what you're doing on the lab grown. For
Correct.
example, how you're adding value to the lab grown by
Correct.
getting into jewelry, where the innovation around design plays more importance than the lab grown as a commodity, because lab grown diamond has become a commodity. So if anyone
Correct.
wants to create value, any company wants to create value, has to create value in two ways. One is uh, add the design element into it, and
Correct.
then distribute through retail stores and create a brand out of it. So in India, creating brand is extremely difficult. Titan has done it. Titan is also getting into lab grown. So a
Correct.
company to watch is actually Titan. And if someone wants
Okay.
to look at a small and small cap or a micro cap, then maybe Goldium is a good
Good. Correct.
company to track.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. I had visited a store of Goldium, and what they're doing is quite good. So correct, correct. So lab grown diamond is here to stay. The next
Neil,
question.
I'll,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll,
Sorry,
I'll
sorry.
just like to
Nirav
add
sir. Yeah.
what Devashish ji said कि आज तो सोना चांदी का भाव इतना हो गया है ना कि मुझे नहीं लग रहा है कि अब लोग सोना चांदी पहन के घूमेंगे लोग लैब ग्रोन डायमंड ही पहन के घूमेंगे क्योंकि पता है भाई इसमें रिस्क कम है
Correct. 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 True, 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 true. I was actually on a flight, Nirav sir. I was on a flight yesterday, and I was sitting beside a diamond, a diamond businessman only, and he told me exactly what Debashi sir I guess said. कि natural diamond का price has fallen by 70%, and people are still, मतलब the people who are in the business since 30 years, they are still not able to accept the fact कि ऐसा कभी हो ही सकता है. They are like, so
हाँ
there are few people still thinking it is a temporary phase and it'll come back, but how will it come back? No one knows. So
नहीं वो तो है ही ना
agreed.
अभी आप अगर देखोगे तो इफ यू सी फ्रॉम द लाइक फ्रॉम नेचुरल डायमंड वर्सेस द लैब ग्रोन डायमंड आल्सो इफ यू सी द
Hmm.
फेज आल्सो फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल गोल्ड ज्वेलरी से जो इमिटेशन गोल्ड ज्वेलरी है काफी वो बढ़ गया आप देखो
Correct.
so that also has increased definitely not with the different segments I can say but yes if you see those companies which are listed today also and if you see the segment reporting of them the original gold का जो मेकिंग चार्जेस से जो इनकम आ रही है वो आपकी कम है कंपेयर टू द इमिटेशन ज्वेलरी के सेल से जो आ रही है बिकॉज डेफिनेटली दैट
Hmm.
हैज इंक्रीज
Correct. Correct.
बिकॉज
Correct. Correct.
रिस्क फैक्टर भी हो गया ना आज 1,40,000 रुपए का अगर आपका 1 तोले का गोल्ड हो गया आपका अगर ज्वेलरी भी अगर आप बनाने जाओ और घूमो तो आपको वो पहनने से ज्यादा तो वो कैरी करने का रिस्क है बट
Hmm.
इमिटेशन में यू नो दैट देयर इज नो रिस्क सो वो भी एक फैक्टर है जो देखना पड़ेगा
True.
कि फ्रॉम नेचुरल डायमंड टू लैब ग्रोन डायमंड बिकॉज पीपल वांट्स दैट कि भाई ठीक है मैंने थोड़ा टाइम के लिए पहना उसको यूज किया और जाने दिया कौन उसमें आके चेक करने वाला है वो रियल है कि नहीं है
Correct. Correct.
मेंटेलिटी
Correct.
चेंजेस एज राकेश जी करेक्टली सेड ना कि द मेंटेलिटी ऑफ द पीपल व्हिच इज चेंजिंग ना दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट
True. 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 Absolutely perfect, guys. The next question is, should we use technical analysis along with fundamental analysis to get an upper edge? So anyone can please. I guess
yes
Vijay sir. Vijay
definitely to
sir
see
for.
the trend yes definitely to see the trend yes
Perfect. तो आप मतलब you yourself use it नहीं ना सर आप खुद technicals
yes
it
yes definitely
okay so
so
is it to spot new stocks or just for entry exit?
Nee, just say for example, if I'm holding some stock and where I see that there is a gap, generally you must have seen in my Twitter handle also, I more focus on the gap because technical
Hmm.
analysis मेरे को इतना आता नहीं है. But what I
Hmm.
have seen and observed and what is shooting to me is that the gap theory which I found. जहाँ
Hmm.
पे अगर if you see a weekly gap or monthly gap ना, definitely in the up or down, the stock is definitely will test that level. Maybe some news will come or some kind of events will come to test that level. And if you are holding a good company, as Devashish ji, continuously is focusing on the HBL engineering, so if he likes HBL today more, and if there is a gap at say today, I think HBL is 900 rupees, gap is say around 600 or 700. Definitely, he is not a person who will exit the HBL even when it comes to 600. He will be more happy to add at 600 because since he is into so much. So that theory will help you. But technical analysis will help you for entry, exit, seeing the trend, and definitely when you want to add something which you like and there is a gap, and once
Correct.
the stock has moved up because of the FOMO or over discussed thing, and you see that there is a gap because of which it is got created, you can also enter. That's why you can use the technical analysis. But
Correct.
definitely, all the professional uses is in a different way, which what I am seeing and saying is a different way.
Understood. Understood. Vijay sir, would you like to add on to this? Technical analysis
Uh,
करना चाहिए along with
yes,
fundamental.
yes, I will add. I will love to add on this. So basically, I normally use technical analysis for my momentum investing, and there I use one method which is like a for me it's like a bamboo investing. Now, जितने भी हमने थीम की बात की, जितने भी हमने स्टॉक्स की बात की ना, उसमें हमेशा देयर इज अ स्ट्रक्चर। अब वो स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, मैं आपको शॉर्ट में समझा देता हूँ। इट्स लाइक अगर कोई कंपनी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही है और अगर कोई कंपनी में कोई टर्न अराउंड हो रहा है तो ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल कम ऑन द प्राइस, करेक्ट? तो
हम्म
अगर आप फोर्स मोटर का एग्जांपल देखो तो फोर्स मोटर ने कुछ हाई बनाया था 2017 2016 में। इट वाज
हम्म
समवेयर अराउंड 4000 5000 रुपीज। एंड जब फोर्स मोटर ने अर्मेनिया लॉन्च किया, उसने नीचे से ऑलमोस्ट 1300 1400 से रन अप देना शुरू किया जैसे जैसे उसके क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट अच्छे आने लगे। तो जैसे
हम्म
फंडामेंटल इन्वेस्टर्स को वो कंपनी में ट्रस्ट आने लगेगा, वैसे वो कंपनी में डिमांड आती है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग वो स्टॉक्स बाय करते हैं। एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट
हम्म
डिमांड, दैट मतलब इतने साल पुराना प्राइस जब अपने प्रीवियस प्राइस को ब्रेक करता है, तो उसे मैं बैम्बू मेथड बोलता हूँ। इट्स लाइक जैसे अभी सिल्वर ने किया था, 1980s का हाई, 2011 का हाई अभी रिसेंटली $48-50 में ब्रेक किया था, एंड विद इन नो टाइम इट वेंट अप टू राइट नाउ आई थिंक $75 तक पहुंच गया है। तो दिस
हम्म
मेथड्स वर्क एवरीवेयर। अब इसके अंदर क्या है ना कि अगर आपका कैटलिस्ट आपको मिल जाता है, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई फंडामेंटल ट्रिगर या फिर कोई पॉलिसी चेंज, जैसे एचबीएल इंजन का रहे थे, तो जैसे वो ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट हुआ था और
हम्म
गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस किया था कवच के रिलेटेड, तब वो एचबीएल इंजन में सडन एक यू नो मूव आने लगा और वहां से एचबीएल इंजन ने भी ऑलमोस्ट 6-7 साल पुराना हाई ब्रेक किया। एंड दैट इज वन सिग्नल विच यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि ये स्टॉक या स्पेसिफिक इस सेक्टर में कुछ तो हो रहा है। देर आर मेनी एग्जाम्पल लाइक परसिस्टेंट, एबीबी ने रिसेंटली किया था 2022-21 में, हिताची ने भी किया था। बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स ऐसे सेम कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होते हैं टेक्निकल में, एंड डेफिनेटली वंस यू गेट अ गुड एंट्री देन फिर आप उसको ट्रेंड के तरीके से देख के उसको पूरा राइड कर सकते हो।
मतलब
तो जनरली
विजय सर
टेक्निकल
फ्रॉम
एनालिसिस या जनरली टेक्निकल एनालिसिस को लोग ज्यादातर ट्रेडिंग के लिए यूज करते हैं, बट आई सी मंथली चार्ट एंड क्वार्टरली चार्ट, तो उसमें मुझे बड़े ट्रेंड दिखाई देते हैं।
अंडरस्टूड। सो विजय सर जस्ट टू रिपीट, बाम्बू मेथड आपका जो है, यू ट्राई फाइंडिंग स्टॉक्स जो अपना ऑल टाइम हाई ब्रीच कर रहा है, राइट?
हाँ, मोर देन मे बी 5 ईयर, 10 ईयर का होता है कभी कभी किसी किसी स्टॉक में, तो
ओके
और
ओके
अच्छा हो जाता है। अगर आप एबीबी इंडिया को देखोगे तो
हम्म
2008 का हाई उसने 2021 में ब्रेक किया था। इवन इन रिलायंस
हाँ
ऑल्सो 2008 का हाई 2017 में ब्रेक हुआ था, एंड देयर वाज द
करेक्ट
कैटलिस्ट वाज उसका जियो लॉन्च।
करेक्ट, समझा समझा, पोलैरिटी चेंज कर रहा है मतलब, अंडरस्टूड। ठीक है, perfect, thank you for your answer Vijay sir. Moving on to the next question guys, any guess on silver price in short term or long term? um I'm okay with anyone taking. Rakesh sir, would you want to take this? Silver price का क्या? No guesses, no guesses. Anyone? Neerav sir, Devashish sir, Vijay sir, any guess on silver price in short or long term?
I don't track silver nil. Okay, so I'm invested in gold. Okay, so I think
Okay,
Vijay ji and Nirav ji can answer that because I think they track it.
okay, Neerav sir, any guesses? Yeah.
सर वो ट्रैकिंग से इम्पोर्टेंट क्या होता है कि गुजराती लोगों को है ना सोना चांदी ज्यादा पसंद होती है। तो from the price perspective, I think there may be a short-term correction because काफी जल्दी भाग गया है और काफी momentum
Hmm.
आया हुआ है. Even if you see my earlier chart also, I see there is a gap of 1,21,000. अब पता नहीं कब वो fill होगा कब नहीं. But yes, if the momentum continues, 340 can be seen. Definitely not early, in very short term, but in a
Correct.
long to medium term, you can see 340. But definitely, I will not suggest anyone to immediately rush into it now. At least we can see that what are the policy changes which are coming up, because you know that why the silver, as I said, there is a froth which is there. How the silver is made is basically from collecting the froth. So today also, if you see the silver, there is a fraud because the China has stopped the export policy of the silver. And majority
Correct.
of the companies which are using the silver, you must be aware, in EVs also silver is being used. In the glass also, when we are manufacturing, the silver targets are used for the purpose of polishing into it, for the purpose of silver targets and all. So there are so many use of silver which are there, and because of the scarcity which people are thinking in
Hmm.
2026, this is a run up. That's, as I said now, वो सेंटिमेंट्स भगा देते हैं प्राइस को. फिर वो जब
Correct.
एक्चुअल न्यूज आती है स्कैरसिटी की और वो सब में, फिर वो प्राइस कंसोलिडेट होना शुरू होता है. सो देयरफॉर वी शुड वेट नाउ. बट यस, डेफिनेटली इट विल go up, but we should be very cautious in silver. But yes, I am very much bullish in platinum.
Bullish on platinum. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Uh, Devashi sir, anything to draw? Acha, you don't track silver, you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, great. So guys, we'll wrap up over here. Yes, I'd sincerely like to thank all our panelists for sharing their experience and thinking so openly. And thank you to everyone who joined us today and stayed engaged throughout the session. Yes, guys, markets will move in cycles. What stays constant is the need for discipline, humility, and long-term thinking. And we hope today's discussion helped add a bit of clarity to an otherwise noisy phase, right? So thanks a lot for joining in, everyone. Yes, have a
Thank
nice
you.
Saturday evening. Thank you, guys.
Thank
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 you.
you and
you.
congratulations. Bye.